because I really want y'all to see the best and the brightest. And I appreciate you all for taking notes, copious notes of what these people are doing. God wants all of us. Think about it. Now that we've got a public relations expert here, we've got a best-selling author in the back. Phil Cook is already here, y'all, one of our lead faculty. Put your hands together for Phil Cook. He's here soaking it up, taking copious notes back there. The best of the best constantly learn and grow. How many of y'all realize that? Constantly learning, growing, developing, taking it to that next level. This next young lady is a remarkable, great friend of mine from the Detroit, Michigan area, and she's doing wonderful things in the area of publishing and helping people that have a story and a message publish their books, do public relations, get their message heard, get their story told, get it in the media in a powerful and profound way. Put your hands together for none other than Miss Pam Perry.
Wow, I love that. Thank you, Dale. This is awesome, awesome. Well, I want to tell you all, he said a lot of P's there. He said Pam Perry. Well, my name was Pam Pratt Perry, so that was a lot of P's. I'm in PR. I like people. I like PR. I love publications. I mean, you know, it's just kind of got this P thing going on. It's like, what is that about? And then, of course, I got on pink. There you go. Woo! Let's twirl. No, seriously, this right here, I'm going to tell you a little bit about, but I'm going to tell you that's the backstory, because that's why it's back there. Get it? Ha-ha. Okay. So there's three things that changed my life. The first one was Jesus. The next thing was Jesus' books, like Phil's book, Joyce Meyer books, John Maxwell books, right? Love books. And then the third thing that changed my life was speakers. Not just any speakers, inspirational speakers, motivational speakers. So Jesus changed my life because I was, a mess before Jesus, okay? Even though I grew up in the church, I happened to live next door to my pastor. So that was God right there. Talk about having a landmark moment or a backstory about what that was all about. So my family, my mother and father, they really didn't go to church while I was growing up. I was the only child. So one of the things that I really loved was other people. And so the next door neighbors had 3 kids, and I loved playing with them. And it's like, well, if you want to play with them on Sunday, you got to go to church. So I was like a adopted PK, okay? So I would go to church with the Jordan family every Sunday, going to church, right? There all day, Sunday school all the way through, all right? And I am part of this family that one person is I didn't sing in the choir, but they're a very musical family. This child that grew up next door to me, she's a child prodigy, right? She's playing the piano. She's doing the musical director of Gil Scott-Heron. She was making records, professional records at 16. She went to Howard University. I mean, just phenomenal. Well, I didn't have that gift. I didn't really have the gift to usher. I didn't really have the gift they did gospel plays. I didn't have that gift. But what I did have the gift for, I discovered, was that I'm a person that you can't really show me something really, really good, and I keep it a secret. I can't. I'm going to tell everybody. I was like the Yelp back then, okay? It was like I would tell everybody. Everybody was my thing. So if there was something good going on in church, it was like, oh my God, more people need to come. I've got 25,000 people on Twitter. It's like, oh my God, you need to be at this conference. On Facebook Live, you need to be here. These people will change your life. Anna McCoy, Dr. Tawana, Dell, Simon. I mean, you got to know that I'm going to tell everybody. That was my gift. So I grow up in this adopted family of the Jordans, and the Reverend Jordan, who's gone on with the Lord now, said to me, you're going to do PR for Jesus. I said, what? He said, he spoke that to me like about 12, 13-year-old, because if there was a program at church, I'm making flyers, I'm telling everybody. It was before Twitter and things like that. I'm making like little postcards, mailing them out, direct mail. I'm like, this is what we got to do, because we got to get people, because what I got, I just can't keep it a secret, because I know if people got in the building, it would change their life. I'm excited about it. And I was like, if they just come to this program, if they just come to this service, if they just come to the Women's Day, if they just come to the Vacation Bible School, we just got to tell people about it. You got to, right? Don't you got to write it down, television, bring it? They were like, okay, you got that. Okay, but ain't nobody excited about that except you do that. That's your job. So we grow up, right? And at that point, I go to school, I learn journalism, marketing, public relations, and then I work for the Detroit Free Press, and I'm there for 10 years, so I'm in print. Then I work in radio, and then I worked there for a few years, like 5 years, and then I go into television. I work for Christian Television Network, and I'm in radio, TV, print, and then I work with a magazine, Michigan Chronicle, and then I actually produce my own Christian-type magazine, right? And it's like, all these things kind of pull together. It's like, wow, I really have these skills in terms of promoting things, and I'm really doing well. And I'm working in radio one day, and I had this epiphany. It was secular radio. Nothing wrong with secular radio. I still listen to a little, radio once in a while. But for me to do that for 40 hours a week, selling air, I was like, I'm selling airtime. And I'm promoting like bars and clubs, and nothing wrong if you're clubbing. It's okay, we could get you delivered. But, it's just, I was like, I don't really want to spend my life doing that. It has to mean something. Because remember, there's 3 things that changed my life: Jesus, Christian books, and inspirational speakers. I said, well, that's what I'm going to do. If I'm going to promote something, sell something, spend my time thinking and doing about it, that's what I need to be doing. So I quit. And I had been fired from a lot of jobs, too. Sometimes you get fired from stuff so God can direct you in the right path, right? It's like, I'm fired. But no, it's just like a way for me to send a road sign to you, quit going that way and go this way. So I quit that job, making really good money, to go work for Joy of Jesus. Joy for Jesus. That is it. And what did I do? Marketing, PR, promotion, fund development, events. Woo! I worked a lot of stuff for Joy Jesus. Matter of fact, it was that some days I did not have no joy because I was working so much for them nonprofits. I was like, okay, I said I didn't want to work 40 hours a week doing this. Now I'm working 80, but I did love it. So eventually I went on to become the PR director for the Salvation Army. Keyword being what? Salvation. There you go. I told you that's what changed my life, and I'm just like, hey, it's got to change my life too. So I want everybody to know about salvation, because I know if you messed up and you got stuff going on, that will help you get the right way. But besides that, also books. So during this time, I'm reading different books, and different authors are changing my life. And this is like in 90s, right? And I said, I really think that if more people knew about this book, it could change their life too. So I remember the first author that I actually promote. Anybody ever heard of Jewel Diamond Taylor? She's out of California. This is my first author. She did a book signing at Apple Book Center. I was like, you know what? You need a lot of people to come to your book signing because they need your book to change their life. And that's how I got on the whole point of really promoting authors/speakers. Then, of course, Les Brown was in Detroit, and I was like, you know what? You're coming to town. I want to help promote you. I mean, I'm doing all this, besides being director of PR for the Salvation Army, I'm doing this, quote, unquote, on free, just because that's my natural anointing of public relations, to just walk in it and promote it. So if I know that you're doing something really, really good, and you need to have a whole brand put together, the whole platform, the whole shebang, I'm the person that just naturally is like, bam, 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 that's what you need to do. So we put this together, and I get married to my husband back there, another P, Perry, right? Got to keep it with the P's. Keep it on my P's and Q's, right? So get married, had a baby, and I said, you know what, I really want to work for myself. I left the Salvation Army, but I really want to do something else. So I started Ministry Marketing Solutions. Duh, does that make sense, right? I love ministry, I love marketing, and I want to be their solution. Did that, started in 2000, 17 years old this year. How about that? Now, starting out in the beginning, it was not that much hand clapping going on, because they were like, what? Even my husband said, you sure you want to call it Ministry Marketing Solutions? that sounds a little Christian, too churchy. Well, that's who changed my life. That's who I want to work with. So I had these authors, and then I started working with Zondervan. I started working with Moody. Started working with Waterbrook Press and Warner Faith. And I mean, they at this point, the Christian thing and the Word Network and all these kind of things start coming up. And I'm like working for Christian television, producing shows and all of that. I was like, woo, we are in here. And it became to the point where I'm promoting authors, and this was really before Facebook. Anybody remember something called MySpace? Woo! So I tried to get my authors to say, you know what, we need to get you to connect with your readers via MySpace. What? That's the devil. I was like, social media is not the devil. It's really the way they connect with you. No, I don't want to do it. So at this point, my publisher clients were trying to convince my authors that I represented, African-American Christian authors, that they need to get in social media. So at this point, I've got the publishers that are paying me, but I'm also trying to coach these authors that you need to do your own marketing, because the publishing company is not really going to send you out on tour and really get you out to the masses like you need to. You need to do it on your own. So I started teaching them how to do MySpace and how to connect with their readers and how to comment. And then, of course, Facebook comes along, and then Twitter, and then Instagram, and then Pinterest. And then they're like, I want to just be a writer. I don't want to do all this social media. But that's where PR has gone. So at this point, the publishing industry is kind of wrecked and did a car wreck where now everybody can self-publish a book. You know, go on CreateSpace, Lulu or iUniverse or whatever. So you've got all these authors, and I love authors, but I'm telling you, there's some bad authors out there. Just because you have a computer does not mean you can write a book. I'm here to tell you, all right? That is not, that don't be playing with Jesus like that. Talking about it's a Christian book, and then it's not right, okay? You need to have a good book like Dale's book, Caught Between a Dream and a Job. That's the book. That's how I met Bill. Walking through the airport one day, I was like, I like that cover. Oh, yeah. Now, I have this thing. This is a side story. I have this thing. You know how some people will go and, like, adopt dogs that are, like, lonely dogs or that sort of thing, and you see them, it's like, oh, he's so cute. Or even, like, people will buy ugly houses. I'm the type of person who will buy ugly books. Not Dale's book. But I have this thing where I would go to the bookstore, and it was like, oh, they tried, but let me help them. Let me, so I would go through, and especially for African-American authors, it's like if they would only do better if they knew better. And so most of my career has been 20 years in marketing, publishing, and radio and TV and promote. I was like, they would only do better if they knew better. They have a good story, let me just help you. So that's a side story. That's how so my house is a house of books, right? Instead of a house of cards, it's a house of books. I got a lot of books, and I do seminars on how to really get good covers. So the whole point of it is, at this point, I'm in ministry marketing, helping publishers. At this point now, helping authors. So now I'm a PR coach. So now, because social media has really become such a rapid thing, people can now be their own media. So now I'm teaching people from trying to get them, which I have got clients on, Steve Harvey, Tom Joyner, Oprah, Essence, Ebony, Jet, which is gone, right? Media has changed. A lot of it has changed. So even though you could get on Fox 2 News, and even though you can get on maybe The Real, or maybe you could get on Oprah, if you're not the type of person, like you don't consume media by watching TV, you will know that Dale was on NBC News because it was on Facebook, right? So you have to post a link. So at that point, it's like we become our own media. Yes, you get the credibility, I still do PR. Yes, you get the credibility from being in the traditional media. But the traditional media knows they also need social media in order to get traction. So the backstory for this now is that I love helping sisters in business, okay? They need PR. They need marketing. So what I'm going to be doing now is actually publishing that magazine starting in June, all right? That's one of those things. The other one, starting with PNC Conference in July, I'm going to be publishing Speakers Magazine. And that's the cover for that one as well. We have to be the own media, all right? That's one of the things. So with those two magazines, Sisters in Business and Speakers, That's what we're about. So Deb was saying, oh, it's hard to get into Toastmasters at NSA. Well, I've got Speakers Magazine, so I can help get the word out there for you. All right? Thank you.
Give it up. Everybody on your feet. Incredible, Pam. So proud of you. Proud of you. Pam Perry. Come on, somebody. In the pink. Talking about PR. Come on, somebody. Public relations. Y'all feel what I'm saying? Say, oh, yeah. Isn't that awesome? Incredible stories. And one of the things you should have picked up from her is, hey, listen, as the market has shifted, you can have a seat. As the market has shifted, she's shifting her business.